Why does it rain? Rain pattered against the bedroom window as Noah pulled the telescope from its case. Liam pressed his nose to the glass, watching the drops race each other down the pane. Where does all this water come from? Liam wondered aloud. It seems like the sky just has an endless supply. That, Noah said with a mysterious smile, is one of the most beautiful stories in all of nature. Let's go see it for ourselves. The telescope glowed, and the brothers found themselves shrinking, not as small as last time, but small enough to sit on the shoulder of a single water droplet. They were hovering over the vast blue ocean on a sunny morning. Meet Dewey the water drop. My name is Dewey, said the water droplet they were riding. He was round, clear, and cheerful. I've been on this journey a billion times, and it never gets old. Watch this. The sun beat down warmly on the ocean's surface. Dewey began to vibrate, moving faster and faster. When the sun heats water, Dewey explained, it gives us energy. We move so fast that we break free from the ocean and float up into the air as water vapor and invisible gas. This is called evaporation. Sure enough, Dewey became lighter and lighter until he turned invisible, rising up from the ocean as water vapor. The brothers rose with him, floating upward through the warm air. Below, they could see millions of other water droplets doing the same thing, an invisible river of water rising from the ocean into the sky. Every day, the sun evaporates about 1.2 trillion gallons of water from Earth's surface, Noah told Liam. That's enough to fill 1.8 billion swimming pools. Building a cloud. As they rose higher, the air grew cooler. Dewey began to slow down, and something magical happened. He started to become visible again, turning from invisible vapor back into a tiny liquid droplet. He attached himself to a speck of dust floating in the air. This is called condensation, Dewey said proudly. It's the opposite of evaporation. When water vapor cools down, it turns back into liquid water. Each of us grabs onto a tiny piece of dust or pollen, and together, billions of us form a cloud. The brothers looked around and realized they were inside a cloud. It was like being in a soft, cool fog, with millions of tiny water droplets floating all around them. The droplets were incredibly small, you would need 1,000,000 of them to make a single raindrop. Let me tell you about my cloud friends, Dewey said. There are 3 main types of clouds. The fluffy, cotton ball clouds you see on a sunny day are called cumulus clouds. They look like floating castles and usually mean fair weather. The flat, gray clouds that cover the whole sky like a blanket are called stratus clouds. They often bring drizzle or light rain. And the tall, towering clouds that reach way up into the sky? Those are cumulonimbus clouds, the thunderstorm clouds. They can be 40,000 feet tall, taller than Mount Everest, and they bring heavy rain, lightning, and sometimes hail. Time to fall. Inside their cloud, more and more water droplets bumped into each other and stuck together, growing larger and heavier. Dewey kept joining with other droplets until he was big enough, about 1 to 2 millimeters across, and too heavy for the air to hold up anymore. Here I go. Dewey shouted happily. This is precipitation. And with that, Dewey fell. The brothers rode on his back as he plummeted toward the ground, picking up speed. Raindrops don't actually look like teardrops. The brothers noticed Dewey was shaped more like a small hamburger bun, flat on the bottom and rounded on top, because of air resistance pushing up against him as he fell. Raindrops fall at about 14 miles per hour, Noah observed. And in any given minute, about 1 billion tons of rain falls on Earth somewhere. They splashed down in a meadow. Dewey seeped into the soil, then trickled underground until he found a small stream. The stream joined a river, and the river flowed back toward the ocean, where the whole cycle would begin again. Thunder, lightning, and rainbows. But wait, Liam said. What about thunder and lightning? Dewey reformed into a droplet and explained, inside those big cumulonimbus clouds, water droplets and ice crystals bump into each other so violently that they create static electricity, like when you rub your socks on the carpet and get a shock. When enough electricity builds up, it releases all at once as a bolt of lightning. Lightning is incredibly hot, about 54,000 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun. And thunder is the sound that lightning makes. The lightning heats the air so fast that it expands in a shockwave, creating that booming rumble. You see the lightning before you hear the thunder because light travels much faster than sound. For every 5 seconds between the flash and the boom, the storm is about 1 mile away. And what about rainbows? Liam asked eagerly. Ah, rainbows, Dewey smiled. When sunlight passes through a raindrop, it bends and splits into all its colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. When millions of raindrops do this at the same time, you see a beautiful arc of color in the sky. You can only see a rainbow when the sun is behind you and the rain is in front of you. The telescope glowed, and the brothers found themselves back in their room. The rain was still tapping at the window, but now Liam listened to it differently. Every one of those raindrops is on a journey, he said thoughtfully. From the ocean to the sky to the cloud and back again. Over and over, forever. The same water that dinosaurs drank millions of years ago is still cycling through the earth today, Noah added. Pretty amazing, isn't it? Liam pressed his hand against the cool, wet window. Good night, Dewey, he whispered. Safe travels.